वन्दे श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरे प्रिये नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णा प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम् श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थसुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया मनश्च भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहैतुकी तो आप सभी का स्वागत है।
We welcome all of you to this session on Śrīmad-Bhāgavad Gita, first chapter.
नंबर कहाँ से है? 38 से आरंभ होगा। तो हमने पिछले
Verse 38 onwards.
सत्र में अध्ययन
In the previous session, we studied that Arjuna,
का जब रथ भगवान ने दोनों सेनाओं के बीच
when his chariot was stationed by Bhagavan in the midst of the two armies,
परिवारी जनों को
Arjuna saw all his family members, relatives, and in his mind
आसक्ति
there was attachment. Attachment arose in his mind,
ये विचार उसने किया कि
and he deliberated that what is the benefit by fighting in this war.
फिर वो बोलने लगा इस बात को
Then he started speaking
युद्ध क्यों करना
that why are we desiring to fight?
सबको देखकर
By seeing all these people,
शिथिल हो गया है,
my body is becoming numb, my body is shivering,
मेरे शरीर में कपकपी आ गई है, मेरा मुख सूख गया है
my mouth is drying up,
मैं युद्ध करना नहीं चाहता
and actually I do not want to fight
हमारे
because these are all our relatives, they are our family members.
तो इनको मारकर हमको
So by killing them,
क्या सुख मिलेगा?
what benefit, what happiness shall we derive?
तो इसलिए
So that is why,
क्या है? तो उन्होंने कहा कि
so he said
स्वजनम ही कथम हत्वा सुखिन श्याम माधव, कि मैं अपने स्वजनों
that,
को
oh Madhav,
कैसे
how indeed could we be happy by after killing our own
हमने
kinsmen?
विचार किया था कि इस शब्द जो है
So we had discussed regarding this,
ये
that
ऊपर से तो
Swajanam hi
सुनने
katham
में
hatva,
अपने
it seems
परिवारजनों को
very
मारकर मनुष्य को
nice
सुखी प्राप्त
that how can
होता है,
we be
परंतु
happy
ये
by killing our own family
सुखी न
members.
होते
But it also means
तो
that
मैं
if they would not have been Swajan or family members or relatives, then I would have been ready to kill
युद्ध में
them.
नहीं है,
That means
मैं
his
उससे युद्ध में नहीं,
opposition
लेकिन
is
मैं
not
युद्ध
against
इसलिए
the
कर रहा हूँ
war.
अपने स्वजनों से
He
युद्ध
is
करके,
his opposition is in the idea of fighting
अगर वो
against
मेरे
his
नहीं
own
है
family.
तो मैं युद्ध कर सकता हूँ,
So if they are not my own
दूसरा
people,
ये
then I
कि
will
आप
fight.
इनको मारकर हम सुखी क्या
And then he also
प्राप्त कर
said
सकते हैं,
that how can we be
जबकि
happy
दूसरों को
by
मारकर अगर
killing
सुख
these
प्राप्त होता तो मार
people?
देता उनको,
So that means if
यही अर्थ है।
happiness would have been derived by killing other
बाकी
people,
जो कोई
then I would
समझेगा
have
वो
been
ऐसा
ready to
कहेगा कि
fight.
बात तो बहुत अच्छी कह रहा है,
Otherwise, if anybody
ये अपने
reads
स्वजनों को
this, he
मारकर
will say
कैसे
that
सुख प्राप्त कर
Arjun is
सकता है,
telling something very
इसके
nice,
पीछे जो
that
तर्क
how
है
can we be happy by killing our own kinsmen?
पंडित
But
हमें समझना चाह रहे हैं
the hidden mood or idea
कि
behind
ये जो
Arjuna's
कोई भी
statement is
शब्द मेरे
that
मुख से
all
निष्कासित
these
हो रहा है
words which are emanating
और
from Arjuna's
हानि
mouth
प्राप्त कर रहा है,
and
ये
the
उसकी
mood that he
आसक्ति के
is
कारण है,
expressing, it is because of his
परंतु मैं
attachment.
इस प्रकार की कृपा नहीं
Actually,
है,
in his heart, there is no such compassion
और
which
क्योंकि हम सभी
appears to be
ईश्वर
here.
के हैं तो
And since we also of
हमारे भाव में
that
परिवर्तन
nature,
आता है,
our nature matches with
जब भी
Arjuna's
कोई वाक्यांश
nature.
सुनते
And
हैं तो
whenever
हमारे
we
अंदर
hear
भाव
these
में
statements of
परिवर्तन आता
Arjun,
है,
we feel that yes, yeah,
और
what he
इसलिए
is telling is correct.
हम गीता के वास्तविक
That is why
अर्थ
the
को समझने
we fail to understand the real tattva of Bhagavad
तो
Gita.
इसलिए इसको समझना आवश्यक है, ये प्रथम अध्याय
That is why it is very important to understand the
तो
first chapter.
45 श्लोक में वो कहता है,
So
यद्यपि
now,
एतेन पश्यन्ति लोभोपहत चेतसः कुलक्षय कृतं दोषम मित्रद्रोहे च पातकम् कथं न जेयम् अस्माभिः पापादस्मन् अस्मान् निवर्तितुं कुलक्षय कृतं दोषम प्रपश्यद्भिर्जनार्दन। यद्यपि लालच से वशीभूत चित्त के कारण वे अपने ही कुल के नष्ट
so
होने में
translation, even though their minds overpowered by greed,
जो हमारे शत्रु
see no evil
जिनको
in destroying their own
शत्रु भी
family.
कहता है, शत्रु भी मानता है,
So they means he is talking about
नहीं तो
his family
अगर
members
हम
whom he
देखें
considers his relatives also as well as
अगर
his
हम
enemies
अपने नहीं
also.
हैं
If we are
तो
all
बोलना चाहिए
family
कि
members, relatives,
हमारे अपने लोग नहीं देख रहे हैं, तो अभी कहता है यद्यपि एतेन पश्यन्ति, ये लोग
so
हमको देखते
he is telling ete means they. That means
हम
we can
जब
see, but
हमारे
they cannot
अंतःकरणों
see.
में कोई पाप नहीं देखते हैं
And no sin in present to
तो हम
friends. Why should
अपने
we, O
अंतःकरण के
Janardhan,
दोष को
who see
नहीं
clearly the
देखकर
evil of destroying one's
निश्चित
family,
पाप से
not
बचने के
know
लिए,
to avoid this sin?
तो यहाँ जो बहुत महत्वपूर्ण शब्द है
So the very important
लोभ
word which
उपहत
is used
चेतसः,
here is lobha upahata chetasah.
चेतस माने हमारा जो हृदय है, हमारा जो मन है,
Lobh means due to
हमारी
the greed, our
बुद्धि
mind,
है, ये सब
our intelligence.
बुद्धि,
Chetas means all this
हृदय,
mind, intelligence,
तो ये
heart.
सब उपहत यानी कि
So they are
प्रभावित हो
all
गए हैं लोभ के कारण,
overpowered
और
by
इसलिए
greed.
देख नहीं पा रहे हैं।
That's why these people, they are not able to see.
Why everybody has to do this? I don't understand. So कुलक्षय कृतम दोषम, ये जो कुलक्षय का जो दोष है,
So this sin
उसको
of
कोई नहीं देख
Kulakshaya, the
सकता,
destruction of the family,
तो कहने का
they are
मतलब
not
है कि
able
जब
to
हमारा
see
हृदय
that.
लोभ से
So the point is that when our heart is overpowered
तो
by
हम
greed, then
वास्तविक
we
स्थिति को नहीं देख पाते
cannot
हैं
understand the
कि क्या
reality.
है।
We cannot see the
तो ऐसे
reality.
समझिए जैसे हमारी आँख के ऊपर एक
It is
पर्दा
like
है,
a curtain on our
जिससे
eyes.
हम
that is greed. So because of that, we cannot see the object as it is.
और ये प्राय करके लोगों के साथ होता है
And this generally happens with
इन लोगों
people.
का लोभ क्या
So
है
first of all, we have to understand what is
लोभ का
greed.
मतलब होता है कि
So greed
जो
means
हमारे पास है
whatever we have,
हम उससे संतुष्ट नहीं
we are not satisfied with that.
हमको और चाहिए
We want more.
और लोभ
And
की कोई सीमा नहीं होती
there is no limit to
जितना
greed.
मिल जाएगा लोभ
No matter how much we get,
ऐसा हिंदी में
we
कहते
want
हैं
more.
उससे लोभ बढ़ता है
So
कि आप
it is
सोचते
said
हो अगर
that
उससे लाभ
the
होगा
more
तो
we
मुझे
get
लोभ
profit,
कैसे नहीं
the
होगा
more our greed increases.
तो ये बढ़ता ही जाता है
So it keeps increasing.
और उसके कारण
And because of
हम
that,
गलत काम करते हैं
we perform wrong action and
जैसे
we
दुर्योधन के पास
suffer.
अपना राज्य है
So like
ऐसा
Duryodhan, he
नहीं
has his own
वो
kingdom.
पर बैठा हुआ
It is not that he is on the road,
उसने
on the street,
पांडवों का राज
but Duryodhan has his own kingdom.
चलो जीत
But
गए लेकिन
even in the game of dice,
के
he
केवल
captured
बाद में वो लौटा देगा
the kingdom of
जैसे भी
Pandavas.
करते हैं
But
बारहवें
it was
अध्याय
said that he would they
अज्ञातवास
would return that kingdom
तो वो सब
after
गलत
the
किया कि अब उसको
13 years
एक
of exile, 12 years of exile, and 1 year of incognito of Pandavas.
जुए में भी तो
But
वही
Duryodhan,
कि
so
जितना
that was Duryodhana's
मिलता
profit.
नहीं मिलता है
That is why
और एक
people
बार
gamble,
अगली
because
बार
they want profit,
लेकिन दुर्योधन तो
they
बार
want
बार
to
जीत
gain.
ही रहा था
So Duryodhan was continuously winning.
कितना बड़ा
So how much his
अब वो
greed
सबको हराना
increased,
चाहता है और वो सबको मारता
that
भी दिन
now he doesn't want to return the
एक
Pandavas' kingdom
जीतना
back to
चाहता है
them,
लेकिन
and even after fighting, he is not
अपना
ready.
जीवन दांव पर लगाता है
He is ready to sacrifice his own life
और लोभ
for
के
that.
कारण क्या होता है कि जो हमारे
And
पास
because
होता
of
है वो भी
greed,
चला जाता है
whatever we have, we lose
शायद स्कूल में
that
आप लोगों
also.
ने वो
Maybe
पढ़ी
in
हो
school,
कहानी पढ़ी
you
होगी
must have studied
उसमें
the story of the dog. There
एक
was a
कुत्ता
greedy
रहता
dog.
है घूमता रहता
It
था
was roaming around here and there
लेकिन
for food,
उसको कभी
and no matter how much it
संतुष्टि
got,
नहीं होती
it
थी
was never satisfied.
तो एक दिन घूमते घूमते इसको
So one day, roaming around, the dog
महत्वपूर्ण हड्डी मिली
got a
तो
very
उसने पकड़ लिया उसको
fleshy
अपने मुंह में
bone, and he ran and
जहाँ
just
वो
got
रहता
hold
था
of that
वहां जाके
and went wherever
खाया
the dog lived.
लेकिन रास्ते में एक नदी पड़ती
But
थी
on the road, there
तो
was a
नदी पार
river, and when he was crossing the river
उसने नदी में देखा
over the
तो
bridge,
अपनी
he
परछाई
saw
दिखाई दी
on the river, he
मैंने
saw a
कहा ये तो
reflection of himself,
उसका नीचे
and he saw there is another dog
बहुत बढ़िया
inside the river, and that dog
तो
also
मैं
has a
भी इसको
very
छूऊंगा
fleshy bone. So let me
तो उसने ये प्लान किया
uh,
कि इसको कैसे छूना
capture
है
that also. So the dog was
जब
planning how to catch hold of
मैंने
that.
डर के हड्डी
So thought that if I
भागने
start
लगा
barking, the
तो
other
जैसे
dog
उसने
may run
अपना
away
मुंह खोला
out of
तो
fear
वो
of
हड्डी
me.
गिर गई
So the moment he opened his
हड्डी गिरने
mouth
पानी
to bark, the
तो हड्डी भी
the
गई
bone fell down and he also
और
fell
डर
down.
भी गया
So he lost the bone also and he
यही
lost
दुर्योधन
himself
का होने
also.
वाला है
So this is what is going to
लालच
happen
के
to
कारण वो
Duryodhan.
पांडवों का
Because of
राज्य
greed,
लौटा नहीं रहा है
he is not ready to
और फिर
return the
मेरी जान पर
Pandavas'
अपना
share of
जीवन
kingdom to
लिया
them. So he will lose the
तो
kingdom also and he'll lose his own life also. So this is what happens.
के असंभवम हेम मृगस्य जन्म तथापि रामो लुलुभे मृगाय किसी ने कभी सोने का स्वर्ण का हिरण नहीं देखा है
So nobody has ever
वो
seen
है
a deer of
लेकिन कहीं
gold.
चांदी का नहीं
There
होता
is no golden deer.
लेकिन जब मरीचि आया
But
मरीचि
when
मतलब
Marich
होता है इल्यूजन
came, Marich means illusion.
मरीचि का शब्द सुना होगा ना
You
आपने
मस्ट have heard of the word Marichika.
मरीचिका उसको भी बोलते
Mrig
हैं
Marichika
रेता जहाँ
is
पानी नहीं होता
like on the desert we see water, but there is no water there. So that was
वो
Marich,
मृग होता है
illusion. So he
और
transformed
सीता
himself
ने
into a
देखा तो
golden
वो
deer, and when
भागे
Sita
उसने
saw
बचाई
that,
अब क्या
Sita
करें
desired to
जंगल में
obtain
रहते
that golden deer. Now, why do you
क्या
need the
करें
golden deer? You are living in the
कहने लगी
forest.
लाओ
What will you do with that golden
देखो
deer?
कितनी विपत्ति
So
पैदा
Sita
हो
was
गई इसके
adamant
कारण
to get that golden deer,
कितना
and how
दुख
much
झेलना पड़ा
they all had to suffer
बहुत
just
लोभ
because of that one greedy
क्या की लीला
activity.
है
So anyway, this is
भगवान
Bhagavan's
कर देते हैं
Leela,
शिक्षा देने के लिए
and he is
ऐसा है कि
teaching us
लोभ के
through his
कारण
Leela. But what it
कितनी
shows is that
कष्ट
because of greed, how much a person has to
और
suffer.
वास्तव में
And
जब
in
तक आपके पास
reality,
लोभ नहीं होगा
as long as you are not
आपको
greedy,
संग्रह का सुख नहीं मिलेगा
you will not
लोग
derive
संग्रह
the
करते हैं
pleasure
आजकल
of hoarding. Like nowadays, people hoard in shopping. They keep on
खरीदते
shopping.
खरीदते रहते हैं
So people just keep on buying and they never use that. Many people, their building just gets filled with so many objects. So this is another disease. This is another mental sickness. So when there is greed, then we derive pleasure from material objects. Actually, our own needs are very limited. One person, how much can he eat? How much can he wear? For sitting, for sleeping, how much space does he need? But here also one property, another building, another property, properties in other countries. Just keep on buying flats, constructing properties. So they derive a lot of pleasure in that. Similarly, unless you have attachment, you will not derive pleasure from relatives. The pleasure that we derive from relatives, it is simply because of attachment. One who doesn't have attachment, he doesn't derive pleasure. So we derive pleasure from this sense of possessiveness, mamatva. So when there is attachment to objects, that is generally called greed. When there is attachment to people, people call it as love. So this pleasure that we derive from objects and relations, we don't get this pleasure from them. So we are our own, all of our hearts are filled with greed. Then our consciousness becomes perverted and we cannot see the reality. So we are actually not deriving pleasure from the people, we are getting it out of our own attachment. The pleasure that we are deriving is our own attachment. And when there is no attachment, we don't derive pleasure from these people. So it is an illusion in our mind. When we don't have an object and we desire that object, so we do not feel any suffering, special suffering for that. Like if you don't have car, you want to buy a car. Let's say you are living in a rented house and you want to buy your own house. So you work hard for that. And then you have your own car, your own home, you live in that. But after that, if somebody steals your car, or somewhere there is some fighting and somebody puts fire to your car, how much suffering you will have? When you did not have that car, that time you were not undergoing some special suffering. You were just having some general suffering, basic level, that you don't have. Or maybe so you were going by bus, by train, but you are not crying that I do not have a car. But now that you have and you lose it due to any reason, then you suffer so much. So the person gets into depression, he becomes very dejected. So that object, did it give you pleasure or suffering? So it happens like this only. Because actually when you did not have that object, you were not suffering because you didn't have any attachment. Now that you have that object, you have invested your sense of possessiveness, attachment in that object. So now when you lose that object, now what will you do with that possessiveness? So losing that object means that much you lost that much of mamatva or possessiveness. And because of that, you are suffering. Earlier, you did not have possessiveness in that. So you neither enjoyed nor suffered. Now that you have that, and you feel you are and you are losing it, so you are suffering. So when you lose that object, you suffer a lot. When you got that object, you derive with very little happiness, but when you lose it, you suffer a lot. So that's why Bhagavan tells in Gita,
सुख प्राप्त करते हैं या सोचते हैं कि इनसे हमको सुख मिलेगा,
So bhoga means all these objects from which we think that we will get happiness, but actually they become sources of suffering.
इस शब्द का अर्थ है
So
लोभ।
here this word lobha upahata chetasa,
और फिर ये
that's what
कहता
it
है
means.
यद्यपि एतेन
And then he
पश्यन्ति,
says, yadyapi etena
बड़ी
pashyanti,
जोरदार बात है। वो कहता है कि
he says that
ये लोग इसको देख नहीं रहे हैं,
these people, they are not able to see.
इनका हृदय जो है लोभ से
Their
भरा हुआ है,
hearts are
इसलिए ये
covered
समझ नहीं
with
पा रहे हैं
greed.
और क्षय
That's
हो
why
रहा
they
है
can't see
कि अपने परिवार
that
को
how
मारने का जो
they are ready
ये
to
पाप है,
destroy their own
इसको ये लोग
family,
नहीं देख पा रहे हैं।
what sin they will incur
मैं देख पा
because
रहा
of this. But I am able to
हूँ।
see.
अर्जुन जो है
So Arjun,
क्या देख रहा है कि
what
उनका
is he
दोष देख
seeing?
रहा है।
Arjun is seeing the defect in the Kauravas side. He is seeing dosh or defect in
मेरे में
them.
क्या दोष है ये नहीं देख
But
रहा
what is the defect in himself that he is not seeing?
है। मैं जो मोह से, अर्जुन के मन में मोह है,
Arjun has moha
उनके मन में लोभ
in
है,
his chitta, and
तो
they also have moha in their mind. So Arjun is not able to see his own moha. Arjun can only see the greed or the lobha
हमारे
in
पास
the
भी
hearts
यही
of the
है
Kauravas.
कि
So
हम
this
लोग
is our own
अपने
situation,
गुण बहुत
that
आराम से दिखा
we
सकते हैं
very easily see the defects of
आनंद के
others.
साथ,
We derive lot of pleasure in that. But
अपना जो अवगुण है,
our own defect,
अपना जो
our
दोष है,
own bad
अपनी जो
quality,
कमी है,
we cannot
उसको
see
दिखाई
that.
नहीं देती।
We don't visualize
मैं
that.
तो ऐसा हूं ही ना,
We feel that I am not,
मैं तो
we are
सारे
not like
त्याग
this.
करने के लिए तैयार हूँ।
We are not greedy. We are ready to
लोभ
sacrifice.
जो है वो मोह के कारण कर रहा है।
But whatever we are sacrificing also, that is also because of
आप
moha.
अपना त्याग
Whatever
करने के लिए
Arjun
तैयार
is
क्यों होते हैं?
sacrificing, it
क्या
is all out
अर्जुन
of,
का जन्म अभी हो गया है क्या वो?
why did Arjun
बात
come
हल्का नहीं
to fight if he was of such sacrificing nature? Suddenly, how did he become such a big renunciant?
कहता है कि
Nothing
यद्यपि
happens
एतेन
suddenly.
पश्यन्ति,
A person's nature does not change
केवल है
suddenly.
कि ये लोग नहीं देख
So he
पा
is
रहे हैं,
telling, although these
इनका
people are
देखना
not able to
बुद्धि में है,
see, but we are able to see. We are intelligent.
मैं
That's
तो
what he is
बहुत
trying to tell.
विश्लेषक हूँ, मेरी दृष्टि बहुत सूक्ष्म
So he
है,
is telling that
मैं
I
समझ
have very
सकता हूँ,
subtle
मेरी
vision.
स्थूल बुद्धि है,
I can analyze at a very subtle level. I can see
विचारहीन है, मैं विचारशील हूँ।
they are not deliberating, but I am
ये
deliberating.
मनुष्य का एक
So
स्वभाव
they
है,
are not able to see, but we can
दूसरों को
see.
दोष
So
ही
this
देखता
is
रहता है,
every person's nature,
अपना नहीं
that
देखता।
he just keeps seeing others'
और वो कभी
defects
ऐसा
and he
सोचता
does
ही नहीं
not
है कि
see
अगर
his own defects.
इसके
And
अंदर
he
ये
doesn't even
दोष
think
है
also
तो
that
क्या
if
मैंने
this
भी ऐसा करना
person
है क्या?
has
अगर आप
such defect,
अच्छाई नहीं
is it
देखना है,
possible in me also?
अगर आप वास्तव में अपनी भलाई चाहते हैं तो आप सोचेंगे
So
कि
even
मेरे
if we
अंदर
can't
दोष है,
see, if we want
इसको
our own
सुधारने की
benefit, maybe
संभावना तो है
if
ना,
other person has a defect that we are seeing,
कोई
it
गारंटी
may be
नहीं है
possible in
कि,
our own heart also. There is no
और
guarantee
अगर मानो
that
आप
we
में
are
अगर ये
free of
दोष
defect.
नहीं है,
And let's
जो
assume
आप
that we
देख रहे
ourselves
हो,
don't have
तो
that
ये
defect,
तो
what we are
स्पष्ट है कि
seeing
आप
in
दूसरों के
others.
दोष देख रहे हो।
But at least we have that defect that we are seeing
दोष की
defects in
बुद्धि तो
others.
है,
At least we have that tendency to
आप
see
कोई
dosha or
गुरु तो
defects
नहीं
in
है,
others. We
कोई
are not
शिक्षक तो नहीं है कि
Bhagavan,
आप
we are not some
इनके अंदर
teacher.
दोष इसलिए देख रहे हैं ना कि
We are
आप
seeing
अच्छे हैं।
defect in others
तो जब हम
because
दूसरों
we
के
feel
दोष देखते
happiness
हैं तो
by
उसके बाद
thinking that
हमें
we are
अपना
better than
पता चलता
others.
है, ये आप
So whenever
जान लीजिए।
we see defects in
जब भी हम
others,
दूसरों के
our
दोष
own
देखते
ego
हैं
is
तो
associated with
उसके
that.
पीछे हमारा अभिमान काम करता है,
Whenever we see others'
मैं
defects,
बड़ा
our
हूँ, मैं
own
बड़ा माने
ahankar is
ऐसा होता
operating
है कि
behind
कोई
that.
अपने को अभिमानी
So
समझता
it is difficult to accept this truth
है, मैं
because it
अभिमानी
is
हूँ,
painful. Nobody
ये
wants to hurt his
वास्तविकता
own
है।
ego, but this
तो
is the truth.
उस अभिमान के कारण ही हम
So
दूसरों के
because
दोष
of
नहीं
that
देख पाते।
ego, we are unable
इसलिए
to see
रास्ते में
our
भी अगर
own
आप
defects.
चलें
Like
और
if
आपके हाथ
you
में
are
टॉर्च लाइट हो,
walking in the dark in the night and you have a
सामने
torch
की
light,
वस्तुओं को देखते हैं ना,
with that torch light you
अपने
see
आप को तो नहीं देख पाते
objects
ना।
in front of you. We don't see
जब तक
ourselves.
आप सामने की वस्तुओं को देखेंगे
So
आपको
as
नहीं
long
दिख
as we are
पाएगा।
only seeing objects in front of
अगर
us,
आपको
we
हट जाना
ourselves will
चाहिए तो
live
उस
in
टॉर्च लाइट को उल्टा घुमाना
darkness.
पड़ेगा,
If we have to
तब
understand
आपको दिखेगा।
ourselves, then we have to reverse the
तो
torchlight and
हमारी
focus on
स्थिति इसी है,
ourselves.
जैसे हम अंधेरे में
So
चलते
our
हैं,
situation
हमारे
is
हाथ में
such
टॉर्च लाइट है,
that we are walking in the
आगे
dark
बढ़ते हैं।
and we are
ये
just
रास्ता
always flashing on
ऐसा है,
others. He is like
आपने ये
this,
किया,
she is
आपने
like
वो
this,
किया।
he did this,
वो
he did
टॉर्च
that.
लाइट हम अपनी तरफ कभी नहीं करते।
We never flash
तो
that
हमारे
torchlight on
अंदर ये
ourselves.
संवेदना है
So this consciousness that we have, it has this characteristic or the property that at a point of time it can focus on only one object. Like when we see also, we can see in one place also. We are not like Brahma, that having four heads that we can see on all four directions. Nobody is all-rounder. People say like this is all-rounder. All-rounder is only Brahma or Bhagavan, Paramatma. So our vision it works only in one direction, and all our senses work like that. If you are hearing also, at a time you hear one sound only. If others are speaking with that person, although the word is going in our ear, but it is not getting registered, we are actually not listening to that. And if we start listening to that person, then the other person we cannot hear them. So our senses work like this only, and our consciousness operates in this manner. So when we focus our consciousness on others, on their defects, then we cannot see our own defects. And because of our ahankara, our material ego, we see only defects in others. So this is very important statement that Arjun is speaking, that these people, their hearts are overpowered by greed and they are not able to see the sin in destroying their own family. They are not able to see that our kula, our family will get destroyed. So destruction of family is a very great sin, because if the family gets destroyed, we'll also get destroyed, because a human being lives with some relation only. Just now I saw one news that loneliness has become the biggest problem in the world. So why loneliness has become such a problem? Because the families have got destroyed. There is nothing, no family anymore. Everyone is alone in this world. So we can see the effect of that in society. So although Arjun is not speaking from that point of view, he is speaking from the point of view of dharma. If Kula gets destroyed, then Jati, Dharma, etc., they will also get destroyed. He'll speak that future. And uh, betraying a friend, that is also a very great sin. Betraying a sin, betraying a friend, committing treason to friend. Patak means one who makes one fall, one who makes his friend fall in suffering, in grief. So friend means with one with whom we can speak our, share our heart without any hesitation. We can share our thoughts, our feelings. If we have fear in sharing our heart with our friend, then what kind of friend is that? So here we don't see that, because between Bhagwan and Arjun, there is sharing of heart. Arjun is openly asking the question. He is not worried that he will become angry if I ask my question to him. So he is even telling Bhagwan that how can you say that you gave this knowledge to the Surya, to the sun god? So he had that doubt. So he has that much confidence, that much faith in Bhagwan, that if I ask my question to him, he will not become upset or angry. So with such type of person, committing treason, betraying such a person, it is a great sin. If some person keeps faith on us and we betray that person, it is a great sin. This is not a symptom of humanity. Even animals don't behave like that. So he is telling that they are committing treason to friend. he is speaking from the point of view of dharma.
ये मित्रद्रोह के कारण ही तो पूरा महाभारत
And because of this treason to friends, there was Mahabharat.
मूल बीज
Actually,
वो
the original seed of Mahabharat is Mitra Droha, committing treason to friends.
द्रुपद
Because Dronacharya and Drupad,
बचपन में
they
एक
were
साथ पढ़े थे
friends in childhood. They had studied together
मित्रता थी
and they were very close
उस
friends.
समय द्रुपद ने
So that
द्रोणाचार्य को
time,
कहा था कि
Drupad had told Dronacharya
कुछ आवश्यकता
that
हो
when I will
तो आप
become
मेरे पास
king,
आना
if you ever need any help,
बाद में जब
please come
उनकी
to me.
विद्या परिपूर्ण
And
हो गई तो
later,
अपने अपने
when their studies were over and they went back to their respective
द्रोणाचार्य
places,
की शादी ही
and
उनका पुत्र था
Dronacharya,
वो बहुत
he's got married and his son was Ashwathama, and Dronacharya was very poor.
क्योंकि
Mostly Brahmanas were
में
always
उनका
poor
कोई
earlier
साधन ही नहीं
because
था
they had no means
नहीं
of
कमाना उनके लिए
earning
संभव
wealth,
होता था
and neither
तो
that was
समय
their
ही नहीं होता था
objective.
पढ़ना
Their
लिखाना पठन पाठन
only
में
job was
रहने
to
का
study and
ये
teach,
उनके कर्म है
mainly performing yajnas.
करना उसमें दक्षिणा मिल जाए
And in the yajna, they used to get
बदले में
dakshina,
उससे कुछ
and with that, they used to
गुरु
sustain their
दक्षिणा मिल जाए
family.
उससे काम
They
चलता
used to teach and used to get some guru
उस समय वो
dakshina.
गए थे द्रुपद के पास में एक गाय मारने के
So,
लिए और साथ
Dronacharya, he went
उन्होंने उनको
to
बहुत तिरस्कार
Drupad
किया
to request for a cow, and you know that Drupad insulted him a lot.
बाद में फिर
So, because of
विद्या
this,
ठान ली
Drona
बदला लेने के
became
लिए
very staunch
तो
enemy
भगवान
of
ने
Drupad,
आके
and because of
उनको
that, he
युद्ध विद्या सिखाई
he taught
और जब
this
उन्होंने
art of
विद्या
warfare
कर ली
to Kauravas and Pandavas.
उनको
Now,
बोला
and when
बोला
that
कि इसको
was
पकड़ के लाइए
fulfilled, he requested for the Guru
ये
Dakshina.
नहीं
He
किया
asked Pandavas and Kauravas to catch hold of
तो
Drupad and bring
तो
him,
बाद में
and that was done by Arjun.
अर्जुन
So
ने किया
Drupad is Arjuna's father-in-law.
जो उसको पकड़ के ले गया था
Or
तो उससे बड़ा प्रभावित हुआ
Drupad was caught by
इतना बड़ा
Arjun,
वीर है
but he was so impressed by Arjun
योग्य है
that he thought that he is worthy of becoming my
और
son-in-law.
द्रौपदी और धृष्टद्युम्न का
So
जन्म
Draupadi and
द्रौपदी को मारने के
Dhrishtadyumna,
लिए
they were born
तो यहीं
to
से
kill
इसका
Dronacharya
शुरू
only.
हुआ
So the
कि
whole
अर्जुन
episode
मित्र
actually
द्रोह के
began
कारण
from here only.
कितना विनाश हुआ
So because of this Mitra Droha, committing treason to
इसीलिए गीता
friends,
बोलता है
betraying friends,
मित्रद्रोहे च
it
पातकम
became so destructive.
पातकम
So Arjuna
तो
knows
इसलिए
this
अर्जुन ये प्रार्थना
danger
करता है
of
कि
betraying
पापंचेय
friends.
अस्माभि पापादस्मान् निवर्तितुम् कि हम क्यों नहीं जानते हैं इस बात को
So
कि
he is
हमें इस
telling
पाप
that
से विदूरित होना
uh,
चाहिए हमें ये पाप से
why do we not know how to avoid this
जो
sin?
हमारे पास है
We
उससे
should avoid
संतोष
this sin. We should simply be satisfied with whatever we have, because
उससे संतोष नहीं होगा
if we are not
तो फिर
satisfied in heart,
व्यक्ति कुछ ना कुछ
then
गलत काम कर
we
सकता
keep
है
on,
सकने की
there is
कोशिश
always
करता है
possibility of
लेकिन
any time doing some wrong
अगर हम
activity.
में लोभ और
But if there
संतोष
is, and if there is
और
lot
काम
of
इसमें जो
greed,
विरोधी हैं
satisfaction and greed, they are opposites of each other.
तो इसलिए
So that is why
पाप कर्म में नहीं पड़ना चाहिए
we should not
नहीं
indulge
पड़ना
in this
चाहिए वो
sinful
फिर
activity.
वही शब्द का प्रयोग करता है जो पिछले
So he is
श्लोक में
again
हमने
using that
पढ़ा
word which
उत्तम
he
कोशि
used in the previous
तो इस
verse,
समय अर्जुन
Kulakshaya
बता रहे
Kritam
हैं
Dosham.
कुल के विनाश होने का दोष जो है
So
वो
now
प्रबल
Arjun
रूप से
is
प्रकट
worried
हो
a
रहा
lot about the sin
है
which
जैसा
is
हमने
going
अभी
to
बताया
be
उसके पीछे
incurred in the
वास्तव में
destruction of the
एक है
family. But the
उसका
actual idea behind
अपने
all this
आप
is his own attachment. And
वो
he's
अपना
seeing his own
सोचता है कि
destruction in all
मैं
this.
नष्ट हो जाऊंगा
He's seeing that if my
क्योंकि
kula,
मैं
my
सब
family
कुछ
gets
कर रहा हूँ
destroyed, I will also get
जिसके लिए
destroyed.
हम ये सब कुछ कर रहे हैं
So he said
ऐसा
that
महत्वाकांक्षी
for whom we are doing
सारे
all
दुख
this,
भोगानी चाहिए तो वही यहाँ पर मरने के लिए खड़े हैं
all those people for whom
व्यवस्थिता
we want all this, they are already here to fight.
तो जब यही नहीं
They
रहेंगे
are ready to lay down their lives for the
तो
sake of
बात
Duryodhan.
ही केवल इसी प्रकार की है
So now he is seeing everything from
तो
this
इसलिए
angle
पश्यत
only.
पश्यत भी जनार्दन कि हम ये सब देख कर भी
So he is telling to
हमें
Krishna
इस
that
कार्य में क्यों संलग्न होना
by
चाहिए
we know all
क्योंकि
this,
वास्तव में
we know
हमें
what sin will be
इसकी
incurred,
आवश्यकता नहीं
but
है
why are we
भगवान
indulging in this sinful
चाह नहीं रहे
activity? But
कि
actually he should not be
उसके
asking
लिए
this to
कार्य
Bhagavan,
करने में आते
because Bhagavan never provoked him
और
to fight. He
इससे
is
ये
simply
समझ में आता
Arjuna's
है कि
charioteer.
अर्जुन जो बोल
But
रहा है
from this we also
उसमें
understand
उसका
that
निश्चय नहीं है
what Arjun is telling, he is
वो
actually not
इस कार्य
confident.
में निश्चय
about what he is telling. When we don't have confidence, determination in some activity, we tell that in front of others and we want that the other person should support us. Then we get confidence or determination in doing that. So we are not telling that because we do not want to do that. So we always want validation from the other person. We have the desire, but we are caught up in duality. We are not sure whether we want to go or we don't want to go. So Arjun's mind is caught up in this duality. He is not confident. He is in doubt. His mind is divided. There is some inner voice in him that we should fight this war because he has not forgotten all the atrocities committed by Duryodhan. He had used the word Atatai for Duryodhan. So Atatai means one who commits lot of atrocities against others. So when Arjun is addressing them as Atatai, committing atrocities, but he is also addressing them as Swajana, our own men, relatives. So he is telling that these these atrocious people, if we kill them, we will incur sin. Now he is also telling that if we kill our relatives, how can we be happy? So you can see Arjun's double standard. So mostly this is the situation in our life. We are not confident, we are not determined. Unless we are determined, we cannot invest our complete energy in that. Our mind keeps wavering. We don't want to leave that, we don't want to do that. So then we want validation or support from others. And if the other person is doing that same thing, then we get some more confidence for doing that, whether that activity is wrong or right. If some person is doing any wrong activity and we know that what he is doing is wrong, that's why we don't want to do that. But then there is some benefit also in doing that wrong activity. So he sees that like when people take bribe in the government offices, he knows that taking bribe is wrong. But when he sees that other person is also taking bribe, so why not me? So by seeing others doing that wrong activity, he gets confidence in doing that. When if the other person is doing some good activity, like he is going to temple, he will not think that I should also go. But when he sees that the other person is also making money, why not me? I should also do that. So seeing others doing wrong activity, when a person himself is not determined, confident, he easily gets deluded into also doing that wrong activity. So Arjun's case is also like that. His mind is not confident. He wants that Bhagavan should relieve me of this doubt. He wants that Bhagavan should say that there is no sin or anything, just fight. But then he also has that feeling in his mind, this is a great sin. What will people say? That I killed my guru and I am his favorite disciple. So he is worried about that also. So that's why he's like this speaking in duality. And we have to understand this. Until and unless we don't understand what is going on in the mind of Arjuna, then we will not understand what Bhagavan is replying. Bhagavan is seeing everything, he is understanding everything. What Arjuna is telling, he can see that. So the next verse.
तो ये हमारे समाज में जो
So in this verse 40, when in our society there was a system earlier, and Arjun is talking about that system, and actually this is very important because the world, the society, any institution, it has to work on some set of rules.
से कहा गया,
that is addressed here as dharma.
अगर उन नियमों का लोग पालन नहीं करेंगे,
If people do not follow those rules,
संस्था हो, समाज
then
हो,
that
या देश,
institution or the society or the country, it cannot work properly.
इसलिए हर संस्था में, हर समाज
That's
में,
why in any institution, in any society,
राष्ट्र में
in any country,
नियम होते हैं,
there are set of rules, there is constitution,
लॉ होता है,
there are set of laws,
लोग अगर उसका पालन करते
and
हैं
if
सब कुछ
people
ठीक
follow
ठाक
that,
रूप से चलता है,
then things work properly.
पालन नहीं करते हैं,
Those who do not
संख्या
follow
अधिक
it
आती है
properly,
तो उनको दबाया जाता है, पुलिस होती है, उसको
then they are oppressed by the police force,
होता है,
they have to be controlled,
जेल होती है,
then there is court,
लेकिन
there
अगर
is
ऐसे
there is
लोग
there are
बहुत
jails.
ज़्यादा बढ़ जाए,
But if these people who break the laws, they increase too much, then there is chaos in the society,
व्यक्ति का जीवन जो है वो बहुत
and an ordinary person, it becomes very difficult for him to continue living in that society.
कुल से ही चलता
So that's why here
है, धर्म की बात
everything
करते हैं,
works
लेकिन
from
धर्म का
kula.
जो मूल है,
People talk of dharma,
कुल है,
but the foundation of dharma is kula.
इसलिए अर्जुन उस कुल की बात
That's why Arjun is talking about that kula. He is holding on to that.
होता है, एक
Because
परिवार
kula means family,
जहाँ पर कुछ व्यक्ति एक साथ रहते हैं
where some people
और
live
उनका
together
एक ध्येय
and
होता है,
they have one common goal,
और उस उद्देश्य की प्राप्ति करने
and
के लिए वो
in order to
सभी
achieve that goal,
का उसे पालन करते हैं, जिसको
they follow some set of rules or dharma which is called kula dharma.
व्यवस्था नहीं होगी,
So if there is no system in the kula itself, from kula there is village, then there is city, then there is country.
तो फिर वो अव्यवस्था पूरे देश में फैलेगी,
So then that irreligion, that chaos will spread across the country. So if the family is not governed properly,
नहीं है कुल
in today's society, there is no kula dharma, there is no system in any family. Everything is governed by irreligion. So because of that, so much problem we can see in the society.
पुलिस आर्मी
Earlier,
आवश्यकता नहीं
there was no need of so much police, so much army, so many courts, so many rules and laws.
वाले हमेशा कानूनी बनाते रहते हैं,
The parliamentarians all the time they are framing new laws only.
क्योंकि
So
समाज
why do we need them?
अगर लोग
Because
स्वयं ही
there is chaos in the society.
विधान से चलें,
If people follow the rules and regulations themselves properly, then we don't need so many new laws. But that is only possible if they are educated from the beginning properly. So in the Indian system of education, this dharma,
उद्देश्य यही था,
this was its objective, that to educate the society.
शिक्षा का मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि
And education means not simply getting some degrees and by that you get some job.
शिक्षा का मतलब था
No,
कि आप
education means you become a human being.
ये शिक्षा का मूल उद्देश्य था,
This was the primary objective of education.
एक संस्कृत व्यक्ति बने,
You become a cultured human being.
अब अगर आज आप असंस्कृत हैं,
If you remain uncultured, uncivilized,
धर्म का पालन नहीं करते,
if you do not follow dharma, then you are destroyed and you will destroy others also.
भगवान ने गीता में कहा है, एवं
So what Bhagavan has told in Gita,
घायुरिंद्रिया रामो मोघम पार्थम पार्थ से जीवति, तो वो व्यवस्थापक वही हैं, धर्म की संस्थापना वही करते हैं, क्योंकि वो जानते
so he only
मनुष्य का समाज
establishes dharma because he understands
किसी भी
what is the benefit of human being of society.
तो या भगवान जाते हैं या जिन लोगों
When
ने भगवान
people do not have this vision, then Bhagavan appears, or those who have received the knowledge from Bhagavan or the system of parampara, they are called rishis.
ऐसी दृष्टि नहीं है,
But any ordinary human being doesn't have this vision to understand what is good for our society.
जो है वो कमी है हमारे,
And this is the primary defect in our modern society, that the governments which are operating today, the primary people who are operating the government today, mostly they themselves do not know what is human life, what is its purpose, how to govern the society. So they keep framing laws by their own intelligence and then they have to change them. And there is no focus on family.
तो समाज या देश तो कुल से बना हुआ है ना,
So the country or the society is a collection of families. So if we govern, if we purify the family properly, if we make it cultured, make it religious, then society will get formed automatically. So this is Arjuna's, this is his fear, that if these families get destroyed, the Kula Dharma, the family traditions, they will get destroyed, and those traditions have been established so that human being can live peacefully and achieve the goal of his life. So all these things will get destroyed. So here Kula Dharma is called as Sanatana, but actually Kula Dharma is not eternal, because Sanatan means one which is not never destroyed. But here Sanatan means eternal, means actually Sanatan means these Kula Dharmas are supportive of the Sanatan Dharma. They are angas, they are elements of the Sanatan Dharma. Because if it is actually Sanatan, then how can it get destroyed? It is not possible. This is opposite. Anything that is Sanatan or eternal, it means it cannot get destroyed. So here he is telling it gets destroyed, it will get destroyed, because it means that when the people who follow that dharma, when they will only not live, they will all die, then what is dharma? Dharma is not some tangible object that you hold in your hand. Dharma is a set of rules that people follow. But when the people who are going to follow, they only don't live, then there will be no dharma also. So that is the purport behind what he wants to say. So when the Kula Dharma, when the family traditions will get destroyed, then adharma, irreligion will prevail. So when the family is destroyed, the ancient family traditions are lost, and from the loss of family traditions, irreligiosity or adharma overwhelms the entire family. So there will be irreligious life. Now one may ask that what is the problem if life becomes irreligious? So the problem is it will destroy peace, and there will be lot of suffering in the society, which nobody wants. Nobody wants to destroy his peace of mind. Nobody wants to suffer. Nobody wants that society should be in chaos. But that is going to happen. Wherever there is irreligion, there cannot be any peace in that society. Because irreligion means the manual of operating the society is not being followed. So dharma means that which holds the society together. It helps to operate the society. Dharma means that holds, it upholds. That is dharma. And adharma is that which breaks. That's why this war that we see in our Puranas between the Devatas and the Asuras. So Devatas are the followers of Dharma. They support Dharma. And the Asuras are opposing Dharma.
तो कहते हैं कि संसार सब असत्य है, इसकी कोई प्रतिष्ठा नहीं है, इस प्रकार की जो बातें करते हैं.
So those who say that this world is not truth, okay, it has no base, nothing, there is no God, anything, no, there is no creator behind this world, it has evolved from Big Bang or wherever. So all these kinds of thoughts, how do you purify that? How do you convince such people that they should follow the rules of dharma? Because they don't believe anything in believe in life after death. People are becoming YOLO. So because of that, in the society there is simply chaos, and then everyone has to suffer in such a society. So this is the suffering of Arjuna. This is his pain in his heart. We will understand from the upcoming verses also that when this Kula Dharma will get destroyed, then there will be only irreligion in the society. And the result of such adharma, irreligion in the society is that everyone will have to suffer. So that's why Gita is a very practical book, because today the society in such a situation only. Our Indian society, which was based on the family, that has been destroyed. And those who are outside the Indian traditions, they tried a lot to break this society, because the Indian society is based on education. So first of all, they attacked our educational system, especially when the British arrived. Before that, our education system was there in Bharat. Although there was a lot of attack, invasion by the Muslims, but the Muslims did not attack our education system, but the British did that. So they were very intelligent, and when the education system got destroyed, then all the kul parampara family traditions got destroyed. Now people say, why we have to shraddh, why we have to go to temple, why we have to give donation, why we have to study Sanskrit. This is all nonsense. So from where we have got all these questions? These are all effects of the Western education. So this is the result of the destruction of our education system. Our society was never based on the principle of exploitation. It was based on mutual cooperation.
आप एक दूसरे को सहायता कीजिए, तो इसी पर म्यूचुअल कोऑपरेशन, म्यूचुअल असिस्टेंस इसी पर आधारित था.
So the society was based on this mutual cooperation. So people did not understand this. And even if they understand, the Britishers understood that we cannot govern this place like that. First, we have to destroy its education system. And the whole world is suffering because of destroying the system in India. And because this system existed only in this country, and whatever is remaining till now, that is also in this country only. Now people are talking about world peace, but that is not possible. As long as we do not understand what is being told in this verse about the Kula Parampara, the family traditions, so how is that possible?
तो इसलिए बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है इस कुल की रक्षा करना, कुल परंपरा की रक्षा करना.
So this is very important to protect the family traditions, and society is formed by that only. For society is not something different. It is not having some separate independent identity. It is a conglomeration of families only. So until and unless the families do not improve, there is no question of improving society. Now people want to do social welfare. How will you do social welfare? Social welfare depends on family welfare. It first, families have to be improved. They have to become cultured. No matter how many rules you bring, people will always find a way to break the rules. Human being always invents methods to break rules. That is natural because he is uneducated. He is not educated in dharma. So the educational system that we had in India, it was always based on controlling human being's mind, teaching him how to control the mind from beginning. Yamaniyam. From beginning, he was taught Sanskrit, the aksharas. Whatever rules are framed in the Sanskrit language, it is already instilled in the child's mind that you have to follow rules, you have to be disciplined, not that whatever way you like, whichever way you like, you pronounce the word. So here there are rules that a certain word has to be pronounced like that only. You cannot pronounce it whatever way you like. So like this, in every aspect of life, there is discipline, there are rules. So then the human being's life becomes disciplined. Then it is very easy to get work done from him. But if you make him indisciplined from beginning only, then how will you discipline that person later? So in our education system, this kind of culture of discipline was there from beginning only, so that the person becomes educated, he becomes worthy of living in human society. Simply living in society does not mean you just get some degrees in from universities. That does not qualify you to be a human being. First of all, there should be character. So that's why here there has been lot of emphasis on character, and Arjun is talking about that only, and he will speak on that more on that about in the upcoming verses, that when the kula dharma, when the family traditions will get destroyed, then how people will become varna sankara. We will discuss that in the next session. So if you have any question, you can ask.
Navdeep ji पूछते हैं, understanding that seeing faults in others is reflective of one's own pride, abhiman. Then should we ignore others' fault and don't discuss it? How will it help me get free from pride?
आप डिस्कस कर सकते हैं। प्रश्न उनका यह है कि
So the question is that understanding that seeing faults in others is reflective of one's own pride or abhiman. How should we ignore others' faults and do not discuss it? How will it help me get free from pride or abhiman?
एक प्रकार से इग्नोर कर दें तो फिर हम उससे अपने ऊपर कैसे संशोधन कर सकते हैं। तो अगर आप उसमें उनमें दोष देखते हैं, दोष तो दिखाई देंगे जिसके
So the
अंदर
answer is, if you see the faults in others, if you, anybody who has intelligence, he will obviously see faults in others. But here the point is that only seeing fault in others and not in oneself. So when you see the fault in others, then you should think that it is possible that that fault can be there in me also. So don't see fault only in others, see in yourself also. So that is the solution. Any other question?
Sandeep ji?
बोलिए।
प्रणाम बाबूजी महाराज। सो मेरा प्रश्न ये था कि जैसे कि आपने ये कैरेक्टर बिल्डिंग मतलब चरित्र का
my question is, as you told about character building, character formation, but now the education system, it is not taught like this from childhood only. So children get such samskaras from childhood only, that they will not have any character. But if some person later, if some person comes in contact with somebody and he understands about this importance of character formation, then how should he deal? Because his samskaras are against good character, but he also comes to realize later that I should have good character. So then what is the solution? So the answer, that suppose you have the habit of eating a certain type of food, and from childhood you have been used to eating that kind of food, and you go to doctor and the doctor says that this food is not good for you, you should not consume this type of food. So what will you do?
छोड़ना ही पड़ेगा।
छोड़ना ही पड़ेगा ना, तो प्रयास करना पड़ेगा ना आपको। तो ऐसे ही है इसमें और उसमें अंतर
So what can you do? You just have to leave that. So what is the difference? When you come to know that you have some bad habit and you should give it up,
शरीर में रहती है
just give it up. But what happens is we have attachment to our body.
और प्रयास
So when it comes to some bodily topic, if something is not good for my body, then we give it up
मानेंगे तो मेरे को कष्ट
because we see the immediate result. If we do not follow that, we will get immediate effect. But when it comes
को तुरंत
to the topic of character, we don't see immediate result of some flaw in character. And when we are given some good advice to improve character, we ignore that advice.
लेकिन बुद्धि है अगर आप समझते हैं
But if you are intelligent, actually,
तुरंत आता है किसी का तुरंत
whether the result comes early or it comes late,
तो इसके अगर हम अपनी बुद्धि का प्रयोग करेंगे तो हम सोचेंगे कि ये मेरे को नहीं करना चाहिए मेरे को इससे कष्ट ही होगा आज नहीं तो कल होगा
so we should understand that today or tomorrow we will anyway have to suffer due to flaw in our character,
जाता है
like food.
पचता
So when some wrong food is entering the body, so it will have effect.
दुष्चरित्र है या जो भी है उससे कर्म बनता है उसका फल इस जीवन में ना भी आए इसलिए तो शास्त्र की आवश्यकता पड़ती है इसलिए शिक्षा की आवश्यकता पड़ती है और कुछ
Okay, Purushottam ji.
हाँ मेरा प्रश्न है कि पहले
So the question is that you told that attachment is the cause of happiness and suffering, and without attachment we cannot maintain a relation. So then what is the solution? That we have a relation but we don't remain attached. So how should we do that? So the whole Gita is teaching that only.
दुखे समय कृत्वा लाभा लाभो जय जय तो सब यही सिखा रहे हैं कि
So
इसको
Gita is going to teach that only, that without attachment also we can live, but we don't have any experience of living without attachment. That's why we feel it is impossible, because nobody has any prior experience of living without attachment. We are all used to always living with attachment. All around us we see attachment only. So it seems very strange that how can I maintain any relation without attachment? That's why we just cannot understand Gita.
क्योंकि सोचते हैं हाँ ठीक है भगवान ने कह
Because we feel that, yeah, okay, Bhagwan is telling do this, do that.
कह रहे हैं
But actually go deep and try to understand.
रहा हूँ कि इसको समझिए कि भगवान
So that's why
भगवान
I
नहीं
am focusing so much on the first chapter,
छुपा हुआ है
that what is hidden
तो इसमें
behind Arjuna's statements.
मूल है
So it is very important to understand that this attachment is the root of this
साल समझिए आप
world. The whole world is operating on attachment. There is no world without material world without attachment. So now we have to
पहले भी हम
apply that attachment to Bhagavan. And we have discussed earlier also in our other classes
हम परिवारीजनों
that we should have attachment to Bhagavan,
रूप से जो
and because of that attachment to Bhagavan, we should deal with our family members.
आसक्ति इस
When our attachment is not centered on Bhagavan, then we suffer.
और भगवान ने इनको
If our attachment is centered on Bhagavan and we realize that these people are also Angshas of Bhagavan, and these people have been given in my life by Bhagavan only. So when we see with that vision, then Bhagavan will come in the middle. So then what will happen? The attachment gets spiritualized.
थैंक यू
can give them okay pass one mic there
How can I do if that the self-discipline and rules do not make us rigid and disconnect us from love?
give me one example what kind of self discipline makes you rigid
For example, sadhana, but doing
so why should it go against love
Maybe if you practice only for discipline, for ¿cómo se dice cumplir, Krishna? Feel. Fulfill.
Feel?
Fulfill. If you do dhisana for fulfill,
Fulfill what?
si uno hace dhisana para tener disciplina y cumplir, más que, pues creo que se vuelve uno muy rígido y pierde eso. Yo estaba con que para cumplir las reglas de lo que hay que hacer, de deber. O sea, que como es para que la autodisciplina no nos vuelva rígidos y perdamos como un poco
Actually, she's repeating the question how not to lose love when doing the sadhana, only to fulfill the rules.
Yeah, but I don't understand how following the rule goes against love. That's why I said, give me one example. Think about it. Okay, next question.
ऑनलाइन प्रश्न है कि किस प्रकार से युवा लोग अपने गुणों पर काम कर सकते हैं सनातन धर्म के अनुसार, और जो उनके ऊपर कंडीशनिंग है वोकिज्म की और आधुनिक शिक्षा की, तो उससे कैसे हट करके.
So the question is, how can young people work on building their own character on the basis of principles of Sanatan Dharma and unlearn conditioning of Wokism and modern education? So the answer, first of all, you have to learn what is Sanatan Dharma, and then you have to see whatever is your conditioning, what is it that is going against Sanatan Dharma, and then you have to give it up. Like, for example, here Arjun will speak. He is talking about Kula Dharma. So respecting parents. This is Sanatan Dharma. Worshipping parents. Today's culture is, what have we got to do with them? So that's why we have this culture of old age homes. The parents become old, so you just throw them away in some old age home. So we have to understand this. We have to first learn Sanatan Dharma and then compare it with the modern culture. The modern culture actually cannot be called culture. There is no culture in that. So we have to understand how it opposes Sanatan Dharma, and whatever is in opposition, avoid it. Some things are in our control. Everything is not in our control. So as much as possible, we give up those elements in our life which are against Sanatan Dharma.
A man feels loneliness and he needs a family, and for that family, so my question was like, if my family members needs an inspiration, so if my family members, so if they have to learn good samskaras like my kids, so I need to be an inspiration for them, because in the stories of Mahabharata, so Arjuna, two types of things he had inspiration. One is skills from Bhishma and others, which would help him in the society. The other thing is the jnana, the spiritual jnana, that too from Bhishma and others. So if I had to start that with my family, so one is for material skills, at the same time for spirituality also, what are the book syllabus that I need to be prepared with? So one example, you said that it's a hitopadesha, which would help them to protect their mindset and other things from the society. But the society is bound with Bollywood, education system and business, politics, all these things my kids they might not know. So I need to protect their mindset from them also. So for that, hitopadesha has to help even in politics. I need to teach them. So what are the things that I have to prepare apart from hitopadesha? Because hitopadesha from friends, it will help. But what about the politics? So what about the education system which they are continuously influenced with?
So उसके लिए वो पूछ रहे हैं कि हमें अपने बच्चों को.
The question is that if we want to impart samskaras to our children, protect them from the modern education system? What should we do? So the answer is, first of all, you yourself have to learn, because you have to teach. Nobody is going to teach all that in school. Second, there are many other books available. Hitopadesh is one example. There are so many other books available. Lot of free downloads are available on the internet. You can teach. Huge number of books are available. There are some schools also like this. You can send them to schools. Like we operate one Jiva public school in Faridabad. So their syllabus is same of the modern education system only. But along with that, we teach samskaras to the children. We teach them about daily swadhyaya, self-analysis, understanding one's own prakriti according to Gita, based on sattva, rajas, tamas, Ayurveda, vata, pitta, kapha. So our teachers there, we train those teachers also on these topics, and then we have reports of every child, and then according to that we guide those children in which field of life they can become successful. And along with that, the method of teaching whichever subjects are being taught. So we have a philosophy behind that. Whether you are learning mathematics or anything else, it should be the philosophy self, others, environment. You should derive. It should be beneficial to yourself, to others, to environment, to society. It should be like that. So for that, there are lesson plans. Lot of work has been done on that. You can go to the website and check out.
बस प्रार्थना। तो अभी प्रार्थना श्लोकों का उच्चारण
We'll recite the Mangalacharan prayer verses.
दोग्धा गोपाल नंदनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर भोक्ता दुग्धम गीतामृतम महत् एकम शास्त्रम देवकी पुत्र गीतम एको देवो देवकी पुत्र एव एको मंत्रस्तस्य नामानि यानि कर्माप्येकं तस्य देवस्य सेवा कार्पण्यदोषोपहतः स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसम्मूढचेतः यच्छ्रेयस्यान्निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम् यत्र योगेश्वरः कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीर्विजयो भूतिर् ध्रुवा नीतिर्मतिर्मम कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजंघ्रये भवे भवे यथा भक्तिः पादयोस्तव जायते तथा कुरुष्व देवेश नाथस्त्वं नो यतः प्रभो नाम संकीर्तनं यस्य सर्वपापप्रणाशनम् प्रणामो दुःखसंनस्तं नमामि हरिं परम्। हरि ओम तत्सत्।